Three. Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroLada.com, and we're continuing on the 2024 astrology marathon. And today, my guest is the beautiful, amazing mind and astrologer Tsveti. Hello, Tsveti.
Hi, Lada. Hi, everyone. I am so grateful to be able to come back to the channel finally
It's been a
after a very,
long time. People love
yes,
you. I've missed you. Thank you so much for being part of this marathon. And Sveti,
I,
the theme today is Jupiter in Gemini in 2024. What a beautiful sunny topic. Just like the beautiful sunny person she is. She's been giving me almost like a psychological counsel before we started this video. She, like a ray of light, pierced through my heart with certain topics. I hope she does the same for you and gives answers to some matters of yours. And before she starts, I want to announce that Sveti is back with readings. She will offer for the next 3 weeks after this video is released her readings for transits for the next year, which means predictive astrology, what will happen for you for the next 1 year with 30% discount. Thank you so much, Sveti, for this offering that you're doing for our viewers. And I'm very excited to hear what you have to say for Jupiter in Gemini.
Thank you, Lada. I am very grateful about the topic because Jupiter is very optimistic. So when I tried to connect to the energy of Jupiter, I really felt very optimistic myself. And it was like a ray of light really into my life.
I think
Very
you're
nice.
very tuned to Jupiter because I told you a few of my problems and you saw them from such a positive perspective. Something that I thought was wrong and negative, you presented it to me in such a positive light. And I absolutely think you're the best person to talk about Jupiter. You're infused with Jupiter right now. So I'm sure you're going to help a lot of people now.
I hope so, really. I really hope to be able to help everyone. I will say the data about Jupiter in Gemini when it enters the sign and some general, more technical stuff. And then, if you allow me, I would like to take a more untraditional approach to the planet because I don't want to just say what the planet rules and what it means to have Jupiter in Gemini, but I really want people to see what stays behind this, what's behind the meaning of why Jupiter gives inspiration, why it gives growth. And so I will look into the mythology of Jupiter a little bit. And I was very much inspired by a lecture I listened by Galina Gerasimova, who is student. She actually represents Beinsa Duno, Master Peter Dunov. So yeah, she gives astrological lectures for free, and I listened to this one, and I really got inspired to talk about this today, and I hope everyone likes it and benefits from it. So the technical stuff, Jupiter will be in Gemini between the 26th, 27th of May, 2024, and 11th of June, 2025. It will go retrograde between 16th of July until 2024 until the 1st of May 2025. And the degrees where it will be retrograde will be between 21 degrees 20 minutes. It will go back to the 11th degree and then it will move forward until it leaves the sign. So everyone who is a Gemini will be very much, will benefit very much from Jupiter because it will actually expand and give them more awareness, and it will give them opportunities for growth and expansion. And everyone who has a sun, moon, or ascendant in an air sign as well, because Gemini is an air sign, so will also benefit a lot from this transit. Generally, there are no bad aspects of Jupiter, I would say, because Jupiter is the great benefic. So really, I believe that wherever it transits through the chart of everyone, it will give it will give its joy and will be able to appreciate its positive effect in our charts. So as I mentioned, I would like to, one last thing from the technical stuff. Jupiter is in detriment in Gemini because Jupiter rules Sagittarius indeed. And Gemini is the site opposite Sagittarius. So it is said that the planet is not very strong. It doesn't have all the tools it needs to show its full beneficial effect. Nevertheless, I had a look at the chart of when Jupiter enters Gemini, the moment it enters Gemini, and very nice. I really like the chart of when Jupiter enters Gemini because it's together with Venus, the other benefic. And also, let me just have a look at the chart so I don't forget something. But also, Jupiter is in a very nice, in nice aspects to Pluto, which is in Aquarius already at that time, and also in a sextile to Neptune. So all the outer planets will be in synchronicity and will be practically giving their, how do I say, beneficial effect all together. And of course, Jupiter and Venus together, this is again, as I mentioned, this is the other benefic planet. So even though the planet is in detriment, I really think it will be able to provide for us positive effects mostly. Only because it's in detriment, when Jupiter gives us the opportunities that we ask for, when Jupiter gives us the opportunities that we need, or some growth, we really need to look carefully so as not to miss these opportunities, because it could be like a one-time event and we should grab the opportunity. Otherwise, it would go away and it will not return. So it's very important to be very vigilant and not to be distracted, because Gemini is very much about curiosity, about going and digging into 1,000 million things. And it has a hard time to actually see the bigger picture. And this is what Jupiter is about. So when you have too many options, just stop for a while and pick one. Otherwise, it might not manifest for you the opportunity.
It's not like a bee going from flower to flower to
yes
flower.
It's like the butterfly. Gemini, yeah, it's like a butterfly. It just goes from flower to flower and it really wants to smell all the flowers, but then it forgets that the field is, you know, one thing. So it lives in the field. So we really need to be able to pick one thing and to look at the long-term perspective, what we really strive for. That's what Jupiter is about. And actually, Jupiter, Mercury is the son of Jupiter. They're father and son as a relationship, indeed. So this is very nice. And I was also thinking that Jupiter and Mercury also are the couple which rules all mutable signs. This is, I'm talking about the ruler of Pisces, Sagittarius, which is Jupiter, and then Gemini and Virgo. These are the opposite signs. So Jupiter and Mercury together, they rule all the mutable signs. And what's about mutability? It's about movement. It's about going from flower to flower. And again, this mutability again gives this flexibility and this movement all the time, doing something on the go, on the run, like a social butterfly as well, because Jupiter is a social planet as well. And also Mercury is the smallest planet in the solar system and Jupiter is the biggest. So this is why Jupiter in Gemini is also in detriment, because when we focus on the smallest things, we seem to lose the bigger picture. And this is actually the trap where we can fall with Jupiter in Gemini. So we really need to be very vigilant and to be careful to see the opportunities and to take on them and to push through till the end goal. Otherwise, we might get like little children. Gemini also rules little children, like toddlers. I want this, I want that, and it's like all the time we need to keep the attention, we need to change the activity.
Exactly.
So,
oh, I want ice cream. I want ice cream. Look at those kids. Oh, kids.
yes, exactly. So, and Gemini is also an air sign, and air is, of all mutable elements, air is the most mutable of all. It moves the fastest. Everything moves through air, moves the fastest. And the idea of mutable air is actually of Mercury, of course, is to connect us to something else, to connect us to share, to communicate, to make us exchange things or thoughts or energy or whatever. We can exchange anything. So yeah, and thought, when we think about thoughts, this is actually, thoughts come from light, and light is all about wisdom. So and Master Dunoff, he says that wisdom actually is a great concentration of love. This is when we love the most, we actually get in touch with the wisdom. And so if we manage to go through this process, we will be able indeed to manifest the positive sides of Jupiter. So going back to the mythology, as I promised, I will go back to Saturn first, because actually and to Saturn and to Uranus, because actually the whole story starts from when Rhea and Gaia and Uranus decided to have kids, and Uranus, which represents symbolically the light within us, actually didn't like the form. Uranus couldn't appreciate the form, like the light within. We cannot appreciate matter. So he actually ate all his children because he didn't find them nice. He didn't like them. And Gaia, though, decided to save one of her kids. And this was Saturn, who actually at one point detronated Uranus. And then Uranus told him that his fate will be the same. Saturn will have the same fate. And this is how actually karma appeared, because this was the karma of Saturn. And Saturn also rules karma in this sense. So, of course, this is very symbolical, because Saturn detonates Uranus when, on a symbolical level, we are already able as humanity to manifest and to master the matter, the material things. And symbolically, then Saturn comes to reign. And of course, because Saturn is very much afraid that he will have to put up with his karma, and he eats all his children as well, so as not to give them the space to grow and not to detronate him at one point. And so he slows them to control them. He creates these physical boundaries and doesn't allow for his children to grow too much. And then the mom of Jupiter, Rhea, she actually gives Cronus, Saturn, a stone, which Saturn eats. And at the same time, she sends Jupiter to the nymphs. And this is where actually we can see why Jupiter is so benefic, because he never knew anything negative in his life. He was sent to the nymphs to be fed. He played all the time. He was, he was in heaven practically. He had no control over. So he had everything he ever wanted, and he grew to be very joyful, full of inspiration, and practically, this is where we have this abundance and all the the growth that we talk about when we talk about Jupiter. And this is how exactly, because of the conditions in which he was raised, what these conditions gave him, practically he became as he is. And Jupiter is all about the being in connection with the divine. He lived with the divine, with the angelic, with the wisdom. He had luck to live in these conditions. And he practically represents all these growth opportunities and the abundance. And he had all the teachers he wanted. And so he was very generous, because he had this awareness that whatever you need, you have. You don't need to do anything more than to exist in order to have what you need. So he was a real god. Yeah, and that's why Jupiter practically gives all these beautiful qualities. And wherever it goes through in the chart, it expands. It gives all these opportunities to us as well. It just gives its benevolence and gives beneficial energy to the area of life, to the house which it transits.
I know some people with strong Jupiter in their chart, like my husband, for example. And because I have a very weak Jupiter, I'm constantly reading, studying to understand the nature of things, to connect to the meaning of life. He says, "Oh, I don't need it. I feel it. Like, I know God exists. I feel it. It's in everything." And people with strong Jupiter, they're like that. They're their own mentor. They're connected to the flow of life, to the abundance of life, while someone with weak Jupiter has to dig deep. So that's such a beautiful story. Thank you.
Yeah, and practically that's the reason why I wanted to explain this, is because Jupiter in Gemini practically will make this differentiation between Jupiter, which is the god of Olympus, which rules the higher mind, the objective mind, the awareness, which leads us to a higher purpose, and leads us to the deep realization of our inner truths. But in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is all about thinking. This is about the more concrete mind, the everyday, the lower mind, the smaller things, the daily, the usual, the trivial things in life. So this is how it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Jupiter in Gemini to present its benevolence, because it might just focus too much onto the daily, onto the trivial, and forget practically what's the end goal of this present that we will receive when Jupiter transits through the house. It transits in our personal charts. And also, I just want to mention quickly that Jupiter's children in mythology practically are those who give. These are the nine muses. All of them give us something, give us some inspiration, give us and kind of take us out of the world of the trivial, and raises our awareness, and brings us to another world, to where a more divine, more full of euphoria. It gives great enthusiasm about something which is going to happen in the future. And the nine muses, as I mentioned, then Apollon, which is the sun's logos, and this is all the sun, Jupiter's projection and idea to awaken our creative potential in the human being. And then practically this is the focus of the individual God within every one of us. And then also we have Maya, which is Mercury root, and again here we have this connection between Mercury is actually not a god. he was born between Jupiter and a nymph. And practically Mercury didn't have full divine nature. And so this is a kind of the connection between the divine and the trivial world. This is practically the master and the connector between these two worlds. So Jupiter in Gemini, it very much actually represents this need and this idea of being able to read, to communicate, to collect all the information that you need for a higher purpose, so that we can expand and we can feel more motivated and expand our knowledge and get in touch with the divine. And this is all that Jupiter rules practically: the greater good, optimism, growth, generosity, the joy, the abundance, and the faith that we have. Also on a more general level, Jupiter rules education and schools. So maybe on a more global level, we can see some nice reforms taking place in the educational system. The only trap here could be that Jupiter in Gemini is also related to some propaganda, so it might be also a lot of talking and not so much taking place in reality. And we really need to make a choice, to be able to make a choice, so that we can manifest the planet and to attract most of its fortune. We need to use it for a higher purpose. And as I mentioned, because Gemini is an air sign, it's very mental, it's about the intellect, and it's about speech, it's about curiosity and seeing a lot of things, being able to collect a lot of information, and work with it and connect the dots practically. So on a negative side, Jupiter in Gemini, because it's a weak position for Jupiter there, it can be a lot of interests and a lack of follow through, and not being able to stay focused onto things, onto one goal, and losing interest very fast. This is very typical for the sign of Gemini. And this could lead to too many ideas, indecisiveness, and lost purpose practically. It's like a mind puzzle all the time and forgetting what's actually valuable. Like, I want this and that, and like being too moving too fast through things too superficially, without getting into the deep and without practically reaching the end goal, like losing perspective. And on the positive side, practically Jupiter will give us more perspective. It will give us opportunity to expand our awareness, our mind, to improve our mindset, to maybe rethink and try different things to reset our value system, because that's what also Jupiter rules. It will give us more willingness to learn, because Gemini is related to learning, studying, collecting information, as I already mentioned, and Jupiter will give us these opportunities, and we might see much more benefits from our studies now than we used to with other Jupiter transits. Also, Gemini is a very objective and impartial sign. So Jupiter in Gemini, on the positive side, could give us a very open-minded and a very impartial value system and actions. We will be able to see all the sides of an argument, and practically we can attract all the good fortune of Jupiter if we use our wit with friendliness, and if we manifest with sincere curiosity, and by being sociable and exchanging ideas indeed. So more or less, I think that I mentioned most of the things that I wanted to say about Jupiter. I forgot to mention Jupiter also rules travel and adventure. It rules everything foreign. Here it could, for some of the signs, it depends on where it goes through the houses. So for some of the signs, it can manifest with travel as well, and it might be a good idea to travel.
A lot of travel, believe me.
Yeah, it goes through your third house.
From Aries, yeah, but definitely I've seen last time Jupiter was in Gemini. All my friends, they were crazy. We were traveling all over Europe. It's short trips, you know, but it was 2 years, like a year or something, that it was traveling exploded. But Saturn will square Jupiter, so there might be some limitations.
I think that that's a good thing, by the way, because Jupiter in Gemini, again, it's in detriment, as I mentioned, so it will be very scattered. And there may be too many opportunities.
The monkey mind.
Yes, it's like the monkey mind. Yes, it's like buzzing all the time, and it's like not being able to focus onto one thing. And when Saturn comes there, it's like a checkpoint. It will be in a square. I have the dates.
I know.
I think it's somewhere in August.
19th of August and 24th of December.
Yes.
Very important dates.
At the 17th degree in August, and then at the 14th degree in December. Yes, that's
of the mutable signs. Yeah.
Yes. So I really think that this might be a good thing, because Saturn actually kind of presses the brake and it tells you, okay, now let's stop for a minute. Let's take a deep breath. And it's probably not going to be an easy energy, though, because Saturn is in Pisces, so very emotional. And Jupiter is in Gemini. Gemini wants to play around. It's very playful. It wants to have fun, joy, and so on. But at the same time, if we want to achieve something in the long term, what is Jupiter, then we have to put efforts and we have to put some discipline onto one specific thing. We have to make some boundaries, even if we make boundaries to the choices that we have. So I believe that it will be not by our own will, because it's a square. So it will not be very nice for when mommy comes in and tells you it's time to go to bed. No TV anymore. And then it's not a pleasant experience, but still you wake up refreshed in the morning.
So that's why I love Sweti, because before we started this video, I talked about some of my hard transits and how I'm dissatisfied and upset. And she said, but this is so good for you. And she gave me in perspective how good that was for me. And I was like, oh, I should be so grateful and happy for that. So seriously, if anyone wants a reading with Sweti, she'll give you really the other side of why difficulties are happening, and even if there are difficult things happening, what is the purpose of it? Sorry to interrupt.
I just really think that whatever happens in the chart of everyone, in the in terms of personal transits, and now we'll also look into Jupiter through the houses for each ascendant sun moon signs. But I really think that we should really look into the whole picture. This is very much Jupiter, again, the whole picture, but we really need to look at the chart as a whole and not as only one specific transit. We need to see what this is actually, what is happening, maybe it is helpful for something else that we cannot control. And it might be difficult, but at the same time, if it's not difficult, we are never going to do it willingly, because it's difficult, and who wants to suffer, But when we actually manage to integrate the energy after having conquered this difficulty, then we become stronger, or we set ourselves free from certain limitations. Or we just need some rest and we can't say no more, like Jupiter. And when hard transits come, they actually come to just give us an idea of where we need to work more in order to achieve the positive and the better, the higher manifestation of the planet and of things. So yeah, it's difficult, definitely. Not the most pleasant experience, I know, but also from personal experience. But at the same time, we need this to grow. And yeah, if we believe and if we read what all the masters said, we actually came on planet Earth to study and to grow. And we really need to be grateful for this, no matter how hard it is. So yeah, more or less, I think this is the more general picture of Jupiter in Gemini. And we can now go through the signs, if you are
Oh,
okay with
you're
that.
giving us signs too. That's amazing. Thank you so
I think we have enough time, so
much.
we can go through the
We're
signs as
gonna
well.
timestamp that, but I hope people don't jump right to the sign, because what you said at the beginning is so important. And so
Um, Thank you. If you have anything to add about Jupiter in Gemini, I'm absolutely open to hear, and we have.
I've made my own video about the whole 2024. I speak there. I
Okay.
speak more like what's going to happen in the world. I love that you gave us a psychological perspective, what's personally going to affect people, because I speak more like media, government kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
schools.
I love your point.
Yeah. Okay then. Yeah, mundane astrology is not my strongest thing. So yeah, let's go through the houses then. I will start with Gemini and the first house. So for Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising, and yeah, uh, Jupiter transiting your first house, Geminis. This is great news, I would say. Even though Jupiter doesn't have much strength in Gemini, it still will bring a lot of beneficial events, opportunities for growth, maybe change in appearance, maybe something coming through a partner, because the first house is you. It's all that is related to you, your appearance, your awareness, your body, your health, your vitality. So it's like when Jupiter starts transiting the first house, it is going to give you inspiration about you. Maybe it will increase your life force. Maybe you will find a great teacher who will show you and teach you how to do certain things regarding your appearance, or maybe practically anything can happen in the first house, because it's the most um, general house. It's related to anything which is which you are self-defined for, who you are practically. And Jupiter will give you this opportunity to grow into this direction. You can grow. And something very important, which I forgot to mention at the very beginning, Jupiter has a 12-year cycle. It goes through the whole zodiac for 12 years. So whatever you start doing now, whatever you feel inspiration now in relation to your self-image, to health, to anything which is related to some growth and expansion, this will be a long-lasting thing about you. This will be like 12 years it will come. Also, because Jupiter rules your 7th and your 10th houses as well. 7th house is in Sagittarius and 10th house is in Pisces. We now have Saturn in Pisces, but I really think that for Geminis, it might be very much, this Jupiter transit might be related as well to opportunities for career growth as well. 7th house is the house of others, and the 10th house is the career house. So all these topics come into the first house. So you might get some opportunities through people you know, through people you meet. They might come absolutely out of nowhere. You will be able to overcome some problems that you probably had previously, and yeah, you will practically be able to create a very nice first impression into others. And Jupiter is like a guard. So when it transits through the first house, you will have like a guardian, and it practically, yeah, it will make you more like freer to be yourself, and you will be seen by others as a more joyful, energetic, curious person, and you will be much more easier accepted by others and seen as a very positive person who will give, you might become the heart of the company as well, because Gemini is very much about communications, being social, connecting to others. It's about having a good sense of humor as well. So you will be very well accepted generally. Also, it can go, because Jupiter also rules our spiritual development. It could very much go into this direction. You might become very inspired by some spiritual teacher or learning, and you might focus very much onto the spiritual development. Yeah, get in touch with the divine grace, as I mentioned. So create a totally new routine for yourself. And as I mentioned, Jupiter expands, it magnifies the house where it transits. So the first house is related to the body as well. So it might be like you put on weight as well. Although if you focus on some big project that you have, if you feel inspired to do, to meet, to move around, and to connect with people, and because it's an air sign, I really think that it might not happen. But still, it's a possibility, because wherever Jupiter goes, it expands. So if you don't expand it internally, you will expand externally. That's the, yeah. So, yeah.
That's the remedy. Expand internally, not externally.
Yes. Yeah. Read spiritual literature, like maybe find some groups of people where you, or maybe expand your career, set some goals, because Jupiter rules your 10th house as well. So maybe and use the Saturn, which transits through the 10th house there. Put some goals and put some discipline into these goals, and don't get distracted too much by moving around and like being indecisive. So when you feel you're like this, you just remember that you need to focus on one thing, and there will be time for everything, because Saturn rules time and Jupiter just wants to have fun all the time. So don't be afraid. You will have time to do everything that you feel inspired for. Just stay focused onto your goals. So then we move on to the second house, right? And this is Jupiter transiting the second house will be for Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And the second house, it's a more material house. It's related to our resourcefulness, our self-esteem, our values and valuables, what we possess, our possessions. Also the food that we eat and how we have rest, how we collect energy, so how we accumulate things. So with Jupiter transiting through the second house, your finances will probably go quite well, and you might receive money out of the blue. It could be like or because when the second house also rules our self-worth and what we value, maybe if you have your own business, you might increase your prices and you then receive more for the work that you do. And this will, because this is Jupiter, this will be well accepted. Or you might, if you are working for a company, you might get a promotion and then increase your valuables and receive more money. Another possible manifestation for the second house with Jupiter in Gemini, you could start, you could have higher expenditures because you will be able to afford this. Just be careful not to become overindulging and overspending into stuff, because when Jupiter goes away from the second house, you will have to see the consequences as well. So remember to keep the long-term perspective in your mind, and when always plan good for any purchases that you want, because overspending could lead to trouble indeed. So also, as I mentioned, there will be opportunities for wealth, for increasing your possessions. Also, your self-image, the way you accept yourself, might improve, because the second house is related to the way we see ourselves and our value system as well. So also our attitude towards others and towards money as well, second house. So this could be something related to this direction. Again, the more spiritual manifestation of Jupiter, more internal. And yeah, we can just improve our self-worth, what we think about ourselves, and then start attracting more abundance on a material level, because whatever is on the inside, we attract on the outside. So when we improve our attitude, then what we attract also improves. Yeah, and second house, it's symbolically ruled by Taurus, so it's very much related to gardening, to anything which grows on the planet Earth. So you can have some expansion through such types of goods, and if you are in trade or deal with this kind of goods which are, you know, earth related, like having a garden. Your garden, if you have a garden at your home, it might start being so abundant. So I'm looking forward to this coming into my second house at one point. I'm very bad at gardens, so yeah, I guess it will have a positive effect on me. So yeah, as I mentioned, second house, finances. Also, the second house rules the senses. So Jupiter will expand the senses. You might start becoming very sensitive towards smells, foods. You might try out many different foods. You will become more curious to try out new things, new for the senses, I mean. So yeah, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you really need to be aware of any opportunities that come your way, though, because otherwise you might miss these. So it's really...
I just confirm Jupiter is just going through my second house from my Aries planets. I'm cooking every day. Asian, Indian. It's like I'm
very curious.
really expanding my cooking abilities. Definitely in my
second house is very Taurus, so it's all about the senses, the taste. So
I'm planting plants every day. I'm cooking.
Come to me. I have a big backyard and I am very bad at plants. Nothing grows. I have moon in Cancer and I always overwater them. Yes, this is how my plants die.
Overwater them. Give them space. Give them space.
It's very difficult for me. I always feel like they're undernourished, underwater, under something. So it's too much of a thing is not a good thing. And I have to learn this the hard way.
You're mama bear. You bear, mommy.
Yes, something like this, but it's not the best thing. Anyway, I will wait for Jupiter to come to my second house and then we'll see. Maybe I will finally have a garden and some plants at my place. Okay, then moving on to the third house, which is Aries. For Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising, Jupiter will be transiting your third house, and Jupiter is ruling your 9th and 12th houses. So third, ninth, and 12th houses are very much related to some expansion through foreign cultures, third and ninth house, through and through daily contacts. A lot of communication will be going on, a lot of relationships with third houses, siblings, colleagues, playmates, neighbors. So there might be a lot of visits. You go to their place, they come to your place. It will be a lot of movement around, and through these contacts and communication that you will have, you will have some opportunities for growth. And wherever Jupiter goes, it gives you joy. So you will find pleasure into these activities, to go and meet people. To also, third house is all about communication, thinking, the mindset, writing, speaking, learning new things. So you will really expand and find joy to learn new things, new skills, which will be in the long run, in the next 12 years, will be serving you very well indeed. So if you are a student, for example, your studies will be much more successful now. You will be able to acquire and to work through a huge amount of information, and you will be able to connect the dots faster. You will be able to get your diploma faster, and you whatever practically you start doing, you will have the skill set to succeed indeed. So there will be very good results from third house activities, like also trade, commerce, advertising, any types of sales. Communication will be on you will be very busy indeed. Also, because the third house is actually the sixth from the 10th, you might come to be involved into many daily activities related to at work, related to the administrative stuff, but you will find some positive, although it can be very boring to do all the administrative stuff and things, you will find it very, you will be curious to learn how to do these things. And this will be, this will stay with you for a long time. It will serve you well indeed. So there will be great opportunities for expansion through associates, through friends, through neighbors, as I mentioned. And you will be working you will prefer working in small groups. You will kind of enjoy communicating with people, gathering, making brainstorms, and like generating ideas and exchanging ideas. So this can be a very, very nice transit. Also, a third house is very much related to traveling, but it will be more traveling in the neighborhood, not so long distance. But although Jupiter rules your ninth house, but still it comes to the third. The ruler of the ninth comes into the third. So you will be traveling a lot, moving around a lot, visiting neighbors, friends, relatives. Yeah. And you will be, your mind will be very, very fast. You will be able to connect the dots and see the positives practically of these communications. You will see the benefits of gathering with people, kind of. So learning new skills, as I mentioned, you will feel much more motivated to learn new skills, and it will be much more fulfilling when you learn these new skills. So also third house rules vehicles. So it might be a good time for you to buy a new vehicle, a new car, any movable property indeed. Or if you don't have a driving license, maybe it's a good time for you to take a course and to get the driving.
Maybe I'll finally learn to drive.
You don't drive?
I don't. At 42, I don't.
Now is a good time. You're an Aries Sun, so it's a good time to go and get the driving license.
It's all like honey to my ears, everything you're saying for Aries.
Oh, I'm very glad. So you will have great courage with Jupiter in the third house. So go get the driving license, Lada. And maybe, you know, you never know. Maybe you go to the course and you meet the teacher who will teach you how to drive, and he presents you to someone else, and then he presents you to another person, and then some opportunity comes, you know, in terms of career growth, because 10th house, third house is the sixth from the 10th. So through small steps, you reach the bigger one. So who knows? Go for it. And also third house, because it's very much related to communication, and Jupiter in Gemini, the sign of Gemini as well. It is very important that you keep an open ear and listen to what others say, because Gemini could be a little bit more of a talker and not so much of someone who listens. But especially for Aries and Aries rising people, it will be very important to really stop and listen to others for a while, just to be able to exchange ideas. Yeah, and I mentioned adventure, because the ruler of the ninth comes into the third, so adventures, travel, foreign places as well, why not? And also Jupiter rules the 12th house for Aries, so definitely foreign places as well. Both, maybe it will become much more easier for you to complete such travels, because they come to the third house, and you will learn and know how to organize, and where to go, and to find the best price, for example, as well, so that you can go on the travel that you wished for. So moving on to the sign of Pisces, and Jupiter transiting your fourth house. So then Jupiter will be ruling then your 10th house and your first house. Then, because Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces, practically your ruler, this is even very, very important for Pisces, your ruler will be transiting the fourth house. And what's the fourth house? The fourth house is all about home, your private life. This is your roots, the heritage, our family, the family that we come from, our origins, and the family that we create now. Also, the fourth house is related to, this is our psychological foundations, because it is practically related to our deepest emotions and subconscious patterns. So maybe you will find joy, Jupiter, to learn more about this, and maybe you will explore the family tree. You will communicate more with your family, Gemini, and you will be able, through all this research that you make and the information that you collect from different people from the family system, maybe you will be able to realize something, to set yourself free emotionally from something which was a burden for you. And Jupiter might give you this opportunity to be free and to find joy again. It's a very nice opportunity for reconnection with family, and with, you know, learning more about your ancestry. And as I mentioned, the psychological, the spiritual insights that you might have as a result of all the research and all the communication, rather, not so much research like getting deep into something, but through communicating with the immediate family members, maybe you will come to learn more and more, and then connect the dots and suddenly see, oh wow, this is actually a great opportunity that I had when I was a child, and I was so not happy about this and that, but now I see, and now I'm free. Also, the fourth house is the relationship with one of the parents. It's either the mom or the dad. There are different ideas about these houses. In my personal, we need to look at the chart, and it depends on the person's feedback about who's the authority at home, the mom or the dad. But in my personal chart, for example, the fourth house is the mom, definitely. So yeah, that's my idea of the fourth house. I take it as the mom. So your relationship with the mom can become much more, you might become closer, you might start seeing her more, you might start communicating much more, or maybe with both parents. Why not? Because the fourth house is the home as a whole. So you will take great joy in communicating with the family members. Also, Jupiter may expand the place of living, where you live. Because the fourth house is also related to the place of living, and it might expand the physical place where you spend your time. Also, fourth house is
like
related.
Buying, selling property will be much easier.
Yes,
Definitely.
it's easy. You will find the best property, and maybe. By the way, when Jupiter transited my fourth house, we finally, after searching for more than 5 years, we finally bought a place and moved into a house from a flat. So this is how it manifested for me.
Nice.
Here, we now live in a house. We
I'm
have a
just
backyard.
passing through Jupiter through my fourth house right now, and everything you said is spot on. I'm reconnecting with my parents, especially with my mom. It's all of those points that you were saying. I'm hearing a lot of stories about my grandparents and great grandparents, and I'm realizing where I'm coming from. I'm doing family constellations and researching family trees, and it's so much more about curiosity and learning about it for me and it's a healing process as well.
Yes, it's I'm glad that you shared. Thank you. It's very much about the family, and it's about the family of origin, and also seeing how we transfer what we learned in our roots in the family of origin, how we transfer stuff into our families that we form. And I think that when Jupiter goes through this fourth house, it's a very nice moment where we can, with some ease and joy and lightly, because Jupiter in Gemini is all about lightness, feeling light. We might just say, okay, this is mine, this is not mine. We have a choice somehow. So it's a very nice time to communicate with the family and to see what we want to keep and what we want to create from the scratch for ourselves. And we will have this opportunity to start something new, to have a wide choice of variety. Jupiter through the fourth house, although my moon in Cancer doesn't feel like this is something negative, but it can be like we become too much connected to the home, not wanting to go out so much. We can become a little bit more not so sociable with the outer world, because
I haven't been out of my house in 4 weeks. Let me tell you. Jupiter is in my fourth house.
Yeah, it's like excluding everyone else but the family. So although it's Gemini, so I wouldn't say it will play out in such extremes, but still, I would say if you want to live it, live it. That's the way that's what you need now, and then if you need this, just allow yourself to do that. And also one more thing, which might be difficult. You should be careful with, again, overspending on real estate. Don't spread too thin, because Jupiter's transit through the fourth house is a 1-year transit, and then if you expand it too much and you can't afford, then you will have to shrink again, and that won't be a nice experience. But I believe that this square from your first house, which is in Pisces, to the fourth house might really make you more reasonable with any purchases. So yeah, but definitely your wish, your desire, your expectation to buy a new home will be bigger. And maybe you will strive to get a more luxurious one as well, because Jupiter rules anything which is luxury and which is nice looking and big, abundant. So yeah, just be careful not to spread yourself too thin. Okay, and so moving on to Aquarius, which is the Jupiter transiting the fifth house. And love is in the air. With the fifth house, we have romance going on. And
oh
when
no,
Jupiter...
please no. Don't want anymore.
But you might, if you have a partner, then you might start finding more time to spend with him romantically. You might set dates with the partner. You might find more time to be together. While with Jupiter through the fourth house, it could be like a great focus on the family, on the children, on gathering, on on stuff which is more related to some type of communication. While the fifth house is the house of entertainment and pleasure and romance and play and children as well. Maybe you start having more fun and more opportunities to go out with the children as a family, with the partner, and have fun all together, and everyone finds their way and be happy, and the experiences end up well. Because it's not like and also because fifth house is children, it might mean that something nice will happen in the life of your children as well. But as a whole, Jupiter through the fifth house, it might expand your hobbies. You might start trying out new things. You might start learning different and experimenting, exploring with your creativity. You might start writing, for example, because Jupiter is in Gemini. So Gemini is very much related to also to written communication. So writing, speaking, communicating, talking in front of people, taking some creativity to present your ideas and feel accepted for who you are, for your individual self. So you will find pleasure into presenting yourself out to others as well. Also, the fifth house is games of chance, so maybe the lottery. Although Jupiter is not in a very strong position, so don't overspend on lottery. Try your luck, of course, but be more moderate if possible. For women, when Jupiter transits their fifth house, they might get pregnant as well, because the fifth house is about children, as I mentioned. It's about conception, about romance. So any type of creativity practically will flourish, will really be abundant. And also the possibility, if you are single and looking for a partner, you might be practically meeting someone.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I've seen so many people fall in love when Jupiter is in the fifth house.
I got pregnant when Jupiter was in my fifth house.
Oh, that's another way.
But my fifth house is Pisces, so it was in rulership, so it was very strong there. And I gave birth then 12 years ago. more than 12. Oh. So it's a possibility. So also we might get noticed for something that we created, and we might even get an award, because Jupiter is about the rewards that we get from what we did and from who we are in the fifth house. Our individual self will be appreciated for who we are. But generally, this is very much about feeling joy, through connecting with people and being able to express yourself, your individual self, getting into hobbies, maybe finally finding the hobby that's yours, something that you really feel passionate about and you really want to expand your skills, and it will come much handy. It will be very easy to acquire the skills that you need to start doing some hobby. So it's a very nice position. Fifth house is a lucky house. It gives enthusiasm. So Jupiter going through it will expand this enthusiasm even more. And as a caution, maybe we should be careful not to be too overly confident, because Jupiter can become a little bit arrogant sometimes. So really also think about the community. The 11th house is the opposite, and also Jupiter rules your 11th house. So think about the community as well. And practically when we come to manifest our individual self for a higher purpose, which is Jupiter, for the community, because it rules your 11th house, Jupiter also rules your 2nd house. So at one point, you might come to create some income, self-made wealth from a hobby or from something that you create. And it might be like coming out of nowhere. You never thought about it and you never thought it possible, but still it is a good opportunity and it might happen. And also you might become very enthusiastic about your kids' achievements, as I mentioned. So yeah, more or less that's for the 5th house. If you have anything to add, but I can't think of anything else.
I loved everything you said, and I'm claiming it for myself as an Aquarius rising for 2024 after June till 2025 June. And I can just add that last time Jupiter was in Gemini as an Aquarius rising, that's when I did my best website and I created a lot of content and I took it to another level. So kind of made my kingdom, created this. I was very creative. I was very fun. I got engaged then. So all of those 5 didn't got pregnant, thankfully. Might get this time. We're not trying, but God's will.
So
yeah.
wealth might come through a partner, by the way, because Jupiter means wealth and 5th house is a partner, a romantic partner. So it might come suddenly and unexpectedly through a partner, because Jupiter also rules the 2nd house for Aquarius. So it's a possibility as well.
You know,
if you get,
no, for Aquarian rising people, sorry, I'm just gonna this creates a wealth yoga, because in Vedic astrology, but we're using tropical zodiac, which it was meant to be used with, Jupiter rules the 11th and 2nd house for Aquarius. And these are the 2 houses of wealth, and the other one is the 5th house of. So the houses of wealth are the 2nd, the 11th, the 5th, and the 9th in Vedic astrology. And when the ruler of the 2nd and the 11th goes into the 5th, this is wealth formation period for Aquarians, just to add that.
Well, then great.
It's a wealth yoga, temporary, but if you tap into it, it can give you 12-year cycle after that. So
yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Okay, then moving on, with Jupiter transiting the 6th house, this will be for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And the 6th house is a material house. So it is related to our everyday activities, to self-improvement, to service, to work routines, to employment, to health and nutrition. It's related to duties as well. And because Jupiter just transited my 6th house last year, I might say that I want to say that this is actually the time when I improved my nutrition really significantly. And also I was able to create some working routines which Absolutely, which I learned how to use my time much more effectively, so I can complete, like, work smart, not hard. And I was able to acquire some skills where I had to invest some time into learning them, but then they're going to give me payback over a really long period of time, I'm sure. Jupiter through the sixth house, which is the house of health, as well as I mentioned, it will improve the health for sure. It will be you will, or it might set your focus onto anything which is health related. You might start learning about health routines. You might integrate some health routine in your daily life, and of course this will lead to improvement of your health at one point. Every day going to work, you will be filled with enthusiasm. You might find a new job, a new employment, or maybe someone, if you are if you employ people, then you might find some very good employees that you need and that will be serving your company in the long run. And yeah, so you will find ways to improve your daily life, more or less. Also, you will be in good communication with your employees or with your colleagues, so that you will find more joy in connecting, in communicating with the people around you. Details, analysis, anything that you work with will present joy and opportunities, and the work environment as a whole will improve generally. If you have any medical issues, it might be easier to heal and to improve your health. Only you need to be careful not to lose yourself into too many options. You really need to find a routine and to stick to it. Test it. Like, give yourself, use Saturn. Give yourself some time, and like, I will test this for 1 month only, and then if it doesn't work at all, I will go to the next thing. Just set some boundaries and follow them, so as not to lose yourself and not to expand your imagination, if I may say so, too thin, and also you might become too hypochondriac with Jupiter there, because you might start thinking of too many illnesses, and do I have this, do I have that? So you need to be careful with that, because the mind will be very active with Jupiter in Gemini, and it will expand the sixth house. So you should be careful not to get, how do I say, fascinated by the idea of solving problems, health problems, because this might be a trap. Also, the sixth house, I think I practically mentioned everything related to the sixth house: the working routines, the self-improvement, everything that you learn now and integrate in your daily routines. It will serve you in the long run in a positive way to improve your health. And also, when Jupiter transited my sixth house, I was able to find the supplements which really do me good. I tested so many of them. I have like a full shelf.
Exactly. I was going to tell you exactly what my husband had. His Libra rising, so he had Jupiter through his sixth house, and we became a pharmacy. Serious.
Yes,
there were
that's
like 100 supplements, and we were taking them all. And now, 2 years later, we've whittled down to 2 or 3 that were really
Yes.
good. But that's when it started.
Exactly my case. But I had some medical issues. I had some after COVID stuff. So I couldn't take anything, almost anything. Everything would be, I'm very sensitive to anything that I take. So, but when Jupiter transited my sixth house, I really became a pharmacy. I have 1,000 types of magnesium. I have 1,000 types of vitamin D, whatever you can imagine. It's awful.
The thing is, he was fascinated with that. He was
Yeah,
excited.
me too.
That's the Jupiter. It was not only, yes, there were some medical issues, but it was mostly like he was passionate about it. He learned what to take. It's like, as we said, we're not gonna drink or anything. So he found kava and other such kind of things that kind of create this euphoria, but it's natural. And then all those magnesiums, passion flower fruits, whatever.
Tell me about it. I know. I would find myself reading about health issues and health
Yeah.
stuff and supplements all the time. And I work in clinical trials for medicines in pharmaceutical
Yes.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like reading, I was training myself additionally on some indications when I get a new project, for example, for some illness I'm not very familiar with. I would go through the internet and read all about this. And then, of course, I would try to figure out if I have it or not. And that's very hypochondriacal.
Self-diagnosing.
Yes,
Like,
self-diagnosing, and it's like, yeah, we should be careful with that
yes,
because
that
it's
was the
very
negative side
volatile.
because my husband kept self-diagnosing. I was around him all the time. Oh, I have this. This is helping me, so I have this. Oh, this.
Absolutely,
It's kind of
yeah,
like an experiment period. It's gonna be for, yeah, which
yeah. For Capricorn rising,
but it's incredible because whatever you find that works for you, it's gonna keep you for many years after that. Let's say.
yes, I absolutely agree here. I found some supplements which are really good, and they are absolutely doing wonders for me now, which I didn't believe even, but it happened. So, yeah. Although Capricorns are not very much about trying out new things, they always think carefully about what they try, and yeah. But still, Jupiter through the sixth house, you can be actually surprised with yourselves. Yeah. So Jupiter through the seventh house, this will be for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And Jupiter will be ruling your first house, Sagittarius, and the fourth house in Pisces. So when it transits the seventh house, the seventh house is all about relationships. It's all about marriage, partnerships, one-on-one relationships, alliances, business relationships as well. It's about legal matters as well. If you are undergoing some legal case, when Jupiter transits your seventh house, you might actually win the case. Or if you are single, you might find a partner, and you might even get married now because Jupiter also rules your fourth house. So, practically, Jupiter will give enthusiasm and opportunities for growth through partnerships. Others, which is the seventh house, will respond very positively to you. They will also become very responsive to your requests, to anything that you want, and you request from them. If you ask for something, you will receive it. And other people will become a source of joy for you and opportunity. You will be very seen as very optimistic. You might also travel abroad because the seventh house is actually the house which is the furthest away from the ascendant, which is 180 degrees. So you might go somewhere at the other end of the world. So travel opportunities with family members, why not? Or to visit family members, some distant relatives, or yeah, because Jupiter is the ruler of your fourth as well. So connecting with family, why not? And generally, you will receive good attention, positive vibes from others. Also, because this is the house of the partner, something nice might happen in the life of your partner. There might be opportunities for your partner, and you will receive the benefits from it. This is, yeah, generally because the seventh house is an angular house, so angular houses are very strong. And when we have a planet going through an angular house, its manifestation becomes easier, and we feel the manifestation of the planet much stronger. So you will be seen and publicly seen practically and recognized a lot. Also, as I said, seventh house is also business partnerships. So you might conclude contracts, you might sign, or you might meet partners, business partners, which you will have good communication and a good relationship and business relationship over the next 12 years. What else? And because the seventh house is the furthest away, as I mentioned, it might be with foreign partners, and also Jupiter rules foreign countries. Anything which is foreign feels exotic, so something foreign might come. You might come to benefit. Also, seventh house is clients. You might attract more clients to your business. Legal matters, as I mentioned, they should be resolved in your favor. Also, because Jupiter is in Gemini, and Gemini is all about communication, negotiations, talking, discussing, you will probably become very good at negotiating. And if you need to negotiate or to renegotiate terms about some contract that you concluded, it might be a very good time to do this. Also, I have seen with Jupiter transiting through the seventh house, because it expands everything, and the good and the bad. If you have some issues in your relationships, some relationships might go, because Jupiter will expand the issues, and to a point where you can no longer be in this relationship. And the idea is it won't feel bad, because you will feel free from the relationship. You will feel like a relief, rather than being taken away from something that you loved or needed. Also, Jupiter through the seventh house is a very nice time to get married, because it gives beneficial energy to the house of
I got
partnerships.
married twice. Jupiter in my seventh from Ascendant and Jupiter in my seventh from the Sun. So perfect time to get married.
Well, then go for it. Everyone who has Jupiter through the seventh house, it's the perfect time to get married.
I'm glad I'm not Sagittarius. That's all I don't want to get married again.
Well, what was it? The third time is the luckiest.
No.
No?
Well, that's actually my third marriage. Yeah. Third time luckiest. Yeah.
So even if Jupiter goes through your seventh house, which will happen at one point again, you won't get married. You will just expand or renegotiate some terms within the marriage. Maybe the kids will grow up and you will have more free time, and you will be able to spend more time with your partner, for example.
Oh, your partner will get fat. Huh?
Yeah. Or like Jupiter is transiting my seventh house at the moment.
Oh.
And my partner, he had a business for 20 years. Yeah. And he entirely changed his business. Of course, Jupiter is together with Uranus now. So big changes, big shifts happen, but Jupiter gave him huge opportunities, and he didn't know how it will go with the new business. But from the very first moment he mentioned it to some people that he will be doing something else totally different, he started getting clients.
Oh my God.
And now he has so much to do, and he just changed it. and he has so much to do.
So you
That
can be a kept wife now. You don't have to work. You can.
I don't want this. I have Uranus on the ascendant, so my independence is important to me.
But no,
I
it's
want to keep it.
definitely good things in the life of the partner can happen.
Yes. And luckily, when Jupiter transits the seventh house, it will go into the eighth, and I am now moving into the to the Scorpio sign,
Oh yeah.
Sun, Moon, or Rising, and so Sagittarius can expect this the next year, when Jupiter will be moving from Gemini into Cancer. So Scorpio rising, Jupiter transiting through the eighth house in Gemini. This is me. I'm a Scorpio rising. So maybe I will be able to stop working and my partner will have so huge resources, because eighth house is the resources of others and the resources of the partner as well.
It's
So
like I'm
maybe,
the wife of a businessman.
yes, I might become the wife of a businessman and start working just for fun.
Well,
Who
I
knows?
have another thing that happened to me when Jupiter entered my eighth house. I met my partner, and then the moment we got together, our finances mutually grew up like 3, 4 times. So our mutual finances, so mutual finances can grow so well.
Yes, that's wonderful. This is what happened to me and my partner, but we were together since high school. So when we were single, we were like very not poor, but not well off. And when we got together, things started moving forward much better. So it's a possibility as well.
Did they
When you
tell
join
you that?
resources.
Did they tell you guys that Sveti is a saint?
No,
Amazing, beautiful
I'm
saint.
very far away from being a saint.
Ah, in
You
my
should ask my husband and my daughter. They tell you if I'm a saint.
in my eyes, you are, but I'll have to speak with them.
Yes. You feel yourself invited to come and meet them. Okay, so yeah, eighth house is so it's related to the resources of others. It's also a sexual house, where we find, Victor says that this is where we find the soulmate, a very deep, soulful connection, a
I did,
partner.
I did
Hmm?
with Jupiter in my eighth house. That's when I met my soulmate. But it's a bit
Yeah,
hidden
so
at the beginning. It's a hidden.
yeah, it's also the house of everything that's hidden. So when Jupiter go through the eighth house, it could be also a hidden relationship, or maybe some hidden stuff, some secrets come out to the surface, but just to set you free from something. The eighth house is a very psychological house indeed. So it's
And
very,
also, can I add
Mhm.
sexual healing?
Yes, as
Sexual.
well.
It can,
Sexual.
it's a real thing. I experienced it. So there is
Yeah, because second and
not
eighth house.
random, not random sexual healing with
Yes.
very bonded partner. That's what
Mm.
eighth houses.
Yeah, the second and eighth house are all about energy, this axis. It's about giving and receiving. And in the eighth house, it's about being able to become vulnerable so that you can give it all. And when we become vulnerable, we are very much in touch with ourselves. And this is why the sexual healing comes, because we get in touch with the divine within. And when you get in touch with what's so special and what's the divine energy, and you gave everything, then you receive everything. And that's actually the exchange of energy,
Beautiful,
ruled by
beautiful
Jupiter.
explanation. Beautiful explanation of the eighth house.
Eighth house is all about becoming naked, like a newborn child, because eighth house rules death and rebirth, like peeling the onion and become only leaving the true self. So it's very painful at times, but with Jupiter it will become easy, and it might even be, you might find joy into doing it. So Scorpios, you enjoy anyway getting deep into taboo topics and forbidden matters and hidden stuff. now with Jupiter through the 8th house, even more. Apart from the material manifestations of getting more resources from the partner, possibly expanding, merging with your partner, and improving the bond with the partner as well, then yeah, it can be a very psychological improvement. And I really think that with Jupiter through the 8th house, health could also improve, because when we improve our psychological state of being, the material manifestation of within the body also improves. So it's like a possibility as well.
I have seen miraculous healings during Jupiter in 8th house, like from almost like, sorry, kids, from only like almost like death, terminal diseases, because you heal something psychological, you have some psychological epiphany and healing of deep trauma, and then the manifestation in the material, which might be some incurable disease or long-standing disease, can miraculously heal. So it's a very magical position.
Absolutely. It can give great power to the psychological mind, because Jupiter is a benefic, and it will actually expand the psychological state. And maybe if you are in a difficult situation, Jupiter will expand to a place where there's no point of return, and you just let go, and then you're free. 8th house on a more material level, it's about inheritance, insurances, alimonies, taxes, debts, anything related to loans. Now with Jupiter transiting through the 8th house, all these issues, if you had any issues with these topics, they will be resolved. And you also, because the 8th house is the house of research and getting deep into a certain matter, now with Jupiter in Gemini, you might be able to get deep into a specific area that you really like, and then expand your knowledge significantly. And you will find joy, and you will be very enthusiastic about it. You will want to learn more and more. Only as a precaution, don't get too much, don't spread yourself too thin, don't get too much into the details, but remember the general topic that you research. And if you start focusing on too many details or wanting to expand into too many sub-subjects of the subject, then limit yourself to within 2-3. Otherwise, you might be, learn too many things on a superficial level and not get deep enough to study one specific thing.
Can I just add in something? My husband's going through Jupiter through his 8th house in the last 4 or 5 months. He became a tax guru. He's doing all our taxes. He learned so much. He's passionate about it. He's amazing. He's better than our accountants that we had before. So if you want to do that, guys, that will be perfect.
And Jupiter will give independence in this sense. If we learn about taxes, it will give us financial independence as well, because Scorpios, they don't trust easily. So we learn to do many things by ourselves only because we can't trust others. And then with Jupiter through the 8th house, maybe learning taxes is a good step. Okay, then moving on to Libra Ascendant, Jupiter through the 9th house. And 9th house is all about travel. It's about the meaning of life. It's about higher education, university degrees. It's about expanding our mindset, expanding our philosophy of life. It's about journeys and travel. As I said, it's about anything foreign languages. It's about publishing. It's about traveling and making journeys to foreign countries. So because for Libra, Jupiter rules the 3rd and the 6th house, maybe there could be traveling abroad for work, 6th house. or third house to visit some relatives, siblings, to join the family, to meet with some friends, and this will give you great joy, and there will be good opportunities to do that. And any travel that you have during the transit of Jupiter through the ninth house will practically serve to expand your knowledge. You will meet very interesting people probably, and you will, if you ever criticized or didn't understand some behavior styles, maybe you will meet people who will help you to accept this, or to understand better why this behavior happened. Ninth house is long trips, as I mentioned, so you will be lucky. You will have opportunities to travel as far away as possible. Ninth house is all about foreign places, and remember to see the bigger picture as well, and to, if you have too many options, to be able to pick one, and to after all to manifest the travel. Because otherwise, as I mentioned, Jupiter presents opportunities, but they might go away just as fast as they came. So remember not to ponder too much upon certain opportunities. Then what else? Ninth house is about universities, degrees, as I mentioned. So Jupiter is a teacher as well. So you might become a teacher as well, or you might start studying, you might get a university diploma, and you might expand your knowledge. Also, ninth house is a legal house as well, because it's symbolically ruled by Sagittarius. So legal matters here will go well as well. What else? The ninth house is very much related to the spiritual world, to our connection with the divine. So there might be kind of downloads that you get from the spiritual world. You might get in touch with some energies, and you might become sudden realizations that will increase your awareness and will expand your and change your value system as well. Practically, when Jupiter transits the ninth house, you might come out as a totally new person after the transit. You might have changed your belief system very much. And the process will be enjoyable, you will be optimistic. Only, remember to see the bigger picture, so that, no, it might become overwhelming at times with the Saturn squaring as well, but still it will be like a checkpoint, as I mentioned before, so as to be able to see why something is happening, so that you can manifest what's best for you. Okay, moving on to Jupiter transiting the 10th house for Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And this is the 10th house is related to our career, to our achievement, to what we are recognized for, to authority figures, to public life. We get recognition there. This is the career and the vocation. So when Jupiter transits there, we find joy, and we find opportunities for growth in the area of career, recognition, vocation, and we become successful. This is the highest point in the horoscope, so this is the most visible part in the chart. So we become recognized, and we finally find our vocation as well. We try different things, and then we finally feel inspired by our thing. We know that this is what we are meant to do here. Or you might get a promotion at work as well. You might find new ways, or a new job opportunity, and new ways to expand your career. And also you might be seen much more as an authority figure yourself. You might step into your own authority. You will improve your social status, because that's what the 10th house is, the MC. And also the 10th house is any goal that we have. So fulfilling our goals will be much easier because we will have support. Also, because the 10th house is related to visibility, it could also be bringing some benefits and opportunities for some publicity, for becoming, for some advertising, or for being more visible generally in our social status. Also, the MC in a female chart rules the family name. So for female charts, this might mean getting married as well, changing your family name. And because this is the 10th house, by the way, you might get married to someone who has a higher status. Also, Jupiter rules your 7th and your 4th house. 7th house is partners, 4th house is family. So it talks about some expansion in this area. So yeah, this is a very big possibility, I would say. Yeah, so career advancement, visibility of ideas, success in your career, maybe promotion. Did I miss something? Only because Jupiter is in Gemini and it's in detrimental position, so it might become a little bit arrogant if you lose the end goal and the general idea of why things happen. Remember to be grateful for what you receive. And because the 10th house is it's a cardinal house again, like the 4th and the 7th and the 1st, don't get yourself into being arrogant, and keep, accept the gifts and be grateful. Okay, and now moving on to the 11th house. This will be for Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, right? 11th house is related to the money that we receive from the work that we do. This is the 2nd from the 10th. So we might get a promotion as well. We might receive salary increase. Also, 11th house is all about groups. It's about any kind of system without a center. It's practically the internet. It's the society. It's practically anything which is a huge group of something and doesn't have any center within. So maybe you will expand and you will gain new skills. You will feel more enthusiastic and you will feel very inspired to join new groups, new circles of friends, or maybe you will receive benefits from people with high social status, which is Jupiter. And you will meet them through some groups, through friends of friends of friends. And also the 11th house is related to our long-term goals and wishes. So when Jupiter goes there, Jupiter, by the way, has joy there. So it becomes stronger in the 11th house. Planetary joy, it's called. And it will do wonders for Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising. It will manifest very well in the 11th house. So it will expand your ideas, it will expand your social circle, it will give you much more opportunities to join the groups that you want to join, and you will have large gains from the work that you did. Only you really have to work, you really have to have made the efforts, because being the 2nd from the 10th, this is the money that we deserve from the work that we did. If you didn't do the work, Jupiter will not bring the money, so to say. So, but still, you will be exploring new ideas, new groups of people, new social opportunities. You will have, you will probably expand your client base, and you might receive some title, honor. You might get recognized for something that you did, yeah, generally Jupiter through the 11th house brings great expansion of the social circle that you have. It's networking, clubs. Maybe if you have a website, it's a very nice moment to expand it, to improve it, to work on networking, creating, expanding your network. And having some big plans for the future, big ideas, and manifesting them. You will also have a bigger influence on these groups, so networking definitely, and maybe creating a YouTube channel if you wish, or reaching out to larger groups of people through something that you create, anything related to creative skills. They will become much more visible and much more public for you. Practically, your popularity will increase within the groups that you visit and that you are a member of, so that you participate. Okay, and so finally, Jupiter through the 12th house. This is for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising. Cancers had patience this time. So the 12th house is a very it's a very spiritual house. It's the house of isolation, where we retreat from the world. It's the house of meditation. It's the house of distant places. It rules the oceans. So maybe Jupiter will give opportunities to travel to these places, maybe to make some spiritual retreat, or maybe spending some time alone and learning to meditate, becoming inspired and enthusiastic to acquire new skills, how to do things, how to meditate, and how to develop your spiritual connection with the divine. You can become very, the 12th house is a collective house where you get in touch with the unknown. So you might become very psychic, and you might start receiving messages. Jupiter is in Gemini, so Gemini is communication. So you might, through dreams, the 12th house rules dreaming and dreams, maybe you will get messages from people who already left, from close people that you loved, or you might get some spiritual downloads. Your spirituality will be of great focus, and you will be very much interested to develop into this direction. Also, the 12th house is the house of self-undoing. If you had some addictions, if you were, you will have the opportunity to gain the knowledge. Jupiter is in Gemini, knowledge. So, and to know how to practically let go of all these addictions and confinements that you had. Jupiter will give you the liberation of this. Jupiter, they say that when you have Jupiter transiting your 12th house, you get like a guardian angel, because you have this deep connection with the unknown, with the divine worlds. So this is another opportunity. You will be protected. Also, the 12th house rules any type of spiritual guidance. So you might get a very deep and correct ideas by some guru, some astrologer, some even psychologist, yeah, but generally you will get in touch with your own authority, and you will get in touch with your own self, and you will be able to work psychologically and spiritually to see what you would like to keep within and what you would like to let go. The 12th house is a very hidden house. It's a very isolated house as well. So you might prefer to spend a lot of time alone and to dig into, or because Jupiter is in Gemini, and Gemini is very much about communication, talking, and the 12th house is an isolated house, so they don't go very well together, but still you might find yourself preferring to get into one-on-one relationships, and like having a deep, meaningful conversation with a close friend rather than going out in the crowd and mingling with everyone. So the 12th house is also a hidden house, as I mentioned. So maybe it rules the bad pleasures, as Victor tells them. So maybe some hidden affair. You should be careful if you are in a relationship and you don't want to, you want to keep it, then you have to be careful not to get too enthusiastic about some hidden stuff. Just with Jupiter through the 12th house, it makes you very, because it's, as I mentioned, this is a collective house, you will become very sensitive to everyone's ideas, to everyone's, you will become much more broad-minded somehow. You will start understanding everyone's point of view, and you will probably, because this is the house which is ruled by Pisces symbolically, you might come to see the connection between among everyone and the unity of all things, and kind of change your point of view, your worldview as well, and become much more empathetic and open to hear everyone's ideas. Okay, I think that's all. We went through all the 12 signs, and I hope that it was interesting for everyone.
Fascinating, Tsveti. I was hanging on to every word of yours.
Thank you so much.
Love your syntaxes and collection of knowledge and how you summarize it for everyone. Thank you so much again. And if anyone would like a personal reading with Tsveti again, I'll put the link below in the description and in the cards. She's offering a nice 30% discount for the next few weeks after the coming out of this video. Thank you so much. And do you have any final words, Tsveti?
I wish everyone a great year, and I really wish that Jupiter will bring everyone a great benefit, growth, and many opportunities that we will be able to see and to seize. And hopefully we will develop and see you next year for sure for the marathon.
I'm hoping to see you much more often before the marathon.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, let's see. Next year for sure it will be 2024. That's what I meant.
Tsveti is Pisces and Saturn is passing over her sun, so she's very, 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 very busy right now.
Very busy. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, Saturn requires effort, so I am giving it all.
Let me put another burden on you. Another new video soon with you.
Yes, definitely. I will be very glad to do that. Really.
Thank you so much, Tsveti. You've been so you went to the depth of it. So
thank you, everyone. Really.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Good night.